Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Listen, I'm going to be talking today about the summer of carnage in the United Kingdom that is coming. Now, this video is my own analysis, my own speculation, and my own work. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've not done so already, can you please hit those buttons below, the like, the follow, the subscribe, and the bell notification. So I predicted the summer of carnage was coming way back last summer. So the summer of 2025, I predicted that next year, next summer, we're going to see things a lot worse. So what I'm going to do in this video is just set out some data points and why I'm saying that this summer of carnage is going to start on the 4th of July in Cardiff. Now, ladies and gentlemen, whether that happens or not, it kind of doesn't matter because all the data is pointing towards it. And I'm agreeing with that data. Listen, I'm only going to really breeze over the top of this because I want to keep this video relatively short. But I'm going to tell you in this video why I believe the summer of carnage, or we're going to start to see the first skirmishes that are going to lead on, and then depending on how the government deal with those skirmishes, ladies and gentlemen, be under no illusion, we could actually see a direction here where we have US intervention on the ground in the United Kingdom. And as crazy as that sounds, ladies and gentlemen, tell me the data is not wrong in the comments if you think it is. So what do I mean by the summer of carnage, first of all? Well, right now in the United Kingdom, we really do have some sort of there's an underlying feeling of discontent. We have got so many different communities, so many different subcultures. We have been demoralized as a country. Now, I've done lots of videos on ideological subversion, how I believe the United Kingdom is being subverted. We've already been demoralized. We are in the destabilization phase right now, ladies and gentlemen. We are being destabilized. Now, again, I don't want to point the finger because normally I would point my finger one direction, but right now there's so much stuff happening and I'm kind of taking a step back and thinking, hang on a minute, is the direction really coming from there? And I believe that we could, this summer, put our toes into the crisis phase. And after the crisis phase would be the new normalization phase, when we have had a total restructure of British society. British economic, social dynamics would change. They'll be flipped on their heads and a strong leader would emerge. Anyway, guys, so one of the things I want to talk about, one of the reasons, this is like the tip of the iceberg, is the amount of taxes that are coming this year. So let me just go to the share screen right now, guys. So this article here from the BBC, this was published in November last year. Warning, retail job cuts inevitable after budget. So I will put this link in the description, guys. Let me just read you the first bit here. High street job losses are inevitable. Prices will rise and shops will close because of tax in the budget and other rising costs. A group of the biggest retailers in the United Kingdom is warning. Tesco, Amazon, so basically I gave the full list on another video. I read it all out. It's a big list, guys. The main things for me that are terrifying on there, it's the food. You've got, you've got Tesco, Asda, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, Lidl, Aldi, you know, all the big food retailers, they're all warning that they have to raise their prices in April. So like literally we have got like a month left. Once these prices hike, and from the letter there, that says, obviously, where is it here? High street job losses are inevitable. So what's going to happen here from this article, and remember, this article was written in November. What's happened since November is just further fuel to that fire. So what you're going to have is a situation now where you're going to have job losses, obviously, retail outlets closing their doors. The price of everything is going to go up, which is going to lead to more people becoming unemployed. And once more people are unemployed because those companies have shut, you're going to have more people searching for less jobs. So that's going to be even harder, ladies and gentlemen. And this is all coming in literally a month. We've got the 1st of March tomorrow, and then we're looking at the 1st of April when this is starting. It's probably going to take a month or so for this to filter down and the effects to be seen. In a letter to Rachel, hang on, let me highlight this. In a letter to Rachel Reeves, they said the cumulative burden over the budget changes and other policies already in the pipeline will add billions in costs to a sector with a 3 to 5% profit margin. Now, listen, like, ladies and gentlemen, you can argue or not about profit margins. You can argue whether, these companies should accept, should take some of this financial cost themselves. The reality is they're not going to. You can argue whether that's right or wrong. They're not going to, which is going to lead, as this article says, which is going to lead to mass unemployment. It's coming, ladies and gentlemen. So now we're going to have this situation in April where taxes are up, the food prices are up, and don't forget the price of food, that has a knock-on effect to everything. If you have high food prices, that means high catering prices. High catering prices, as a hypothetical scenario, you've right now maybe got a caterer that buys certain items of food from Aldi. Let's just say we've got said caterer X buys ham, eggs, and chicken from Aldi because it's local. That store is local to them. It's relatively low cost, and they get the same product each and every time. They're a caterer now, and they cater to a company. They have to put their prices up. They do. They've got to put their prices up now because Aldi's putting their prices up. That caterer has to put their prices up. So whoever they cater to, say they're a corporate event, they cater to a corporate event. Say they cater to a funeral director. Say they cater to do weddings. Say they do whatever. You guys, whatever. They've obviously got to put their prices up. Because they put their prices up, people think, well, do you know what? Do we really need catering, or should we just use that money in the budget for catering for something else because it'd be better use somewhere else? So then they cancel that catering demand. Because they've cancelled that catering demand, that caterer, and a lot of caterers do this. They will buy bread cakes, fresh bread cakes, because they are better and they're relatively low cost, from a local producer. Because that caterer's had to put their prices up. They've lost that work. Because they've lost that work, that baker's losing work. Because that baker's losing work, they may have to let staff go. So you see now how this has a supply chain issue. And this is going to start in April. Ladies and gentlemen, put it in the comments if you think I'm wrong, if you think this is not going to start in April. Like the amount of taxes that are coming in April is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. I want to focus on these retail taxes right now, but there's so many other things happening. They've happened already. They're happening in April. And these things are ongoing. It's going to add to this burden. So what's going to happen is right now, you are going to have people who are sat there who have done absolutely nothing wrong. You're going to have people, young families, people who've just moved into a house, people who've just taken a loan on a new car, maybe even all three, and they will not be able to afford their bills, and they have done nothing wrong, ladies and gentlemen. They have done nothing wrong. They've worked at the same company for 10 years plus. They've always paid their taxes. They've always paid their bills. They're living to their means, and then all of a sudden, unemployed. Where do you go from that? Literally, where do you go from that? Now, you've always paid into the system. You've always paid your taxes. You've always done it on time, and you've just been made unemployed. You can't afford your house. You can't afford any food. You're losing, your car that you had potentially on finance. You're going to lose that. You've got kids. They want stuff from school. Can you imagine the stress, ladies and gentlemen? Now, right or wrong, whether you agree with this or not, those people are gonna be looking at the people who are in these migrant hotels. They are, ladies and gentlemen, and they're gonna be saying, hang on a minute, I've paid into the tax system all my life. I'm now unemployed. And these people who are coming here, who've never paid into the tax system, they've never done anything for this country, there could be an argument that these people don't even want to assimilate into this country, you know, but these people have been budgeted £200 a day for food and accommodation, and that's coming from my tax money. And they're going to be saying, how is this fair? And, you know, that argument is a fair argument. It's very difficult to argue with that. How is that fair? You know, now the solution of that is complicated without having draconian measures, which I do think are coming. But that is the situation we are going to start to find ourselves in, ladies and gentlemen, from April the 1st onwards. Obviously, April Fool's Day. Now, that is coming, ladies and gentlemen. Regardless, that's coming. Now, again, I've been warning that this is coming this summer since last summer. I said, listen, if the protests last summer, summer 2024, had 10% more capacity, by 10% more capacity, I mean 10% more people in the crowd, or 10% more furiousness, I guess, if that's a word. I'm a fully qualified English gentleman. It's my birthright to make up words. If they had more furiousness in those crowds, then you would see the police falter. You would see the police fail. And when the police fail in one location, it's their standard, I believe anyway, it was when I was operating in that sphere, it was their standard operating procedure to lift off all locations and to go back to the main HQ and to secure that HQ. Because ultimately, when these things happen, ladies and gentlemen, they happen quickly. They gather pace. They gather momentum. Everybody's out on the streets. Everybody's angry. And right now, what I've said for the longest time, the draconian measures that Keir Starmer took against people protesting in the summer, the draconian messages that he's taken 2 years, 8 months for shouting at police, and we've got Labour MPs punching people on the floor and they get suspended sentences, you know, all that's done is tighten the bolts on a big pressure cooker. The flames are still there, and when that pressure cooker goes, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be an order of magnitude worse. Now, I've given the temporal, I've given the exact date I believe this is going to start. I believe this is going to start in Cardiff on the 4th of July. Oh, but Raven, you're being so specific about that. Why are you being so specific? The date, the 4th of July, is a poignant day, obviously. It's the United States Independence Day. Now, if there is some sort of big, great master plan here, and I don't know if there is, but if there is some sort of a great master plan, what better day to say that the British Revolution or the British, this movement started on the 4th of July. And listen, and I know this is wild. I've done videos before where I've said, I believe the United Kingdom will become part of the United States. And when I did this video months and months ago, last year sometime, people say, oh, Sean, that's wild. That's insane to believe. That's crazy to believe. It doesn't look so wild now, does it? When Donald Trump's saying he wants to take control of Canada, wants to take control of Greenland, wants to take control of the Panama Canal, by de facto taking control of Mexico as well. Right now, and we're starting to see peeps and snippets from other commentators in the United Kingdom saying, oh, would it be so bad if we were the 51st state in Europe? Remember, this war in Europe that is raging, I've done videos about that, but it could be a case where Russia takes control of Europe, backed by the Chinese. The United States takes control of the United Kingdom, and the United Kingdom would be that stepping stone, would be that vanguard into Europe. Anyway, but I want to keep this video on the summer of carnage that I do believe is coming, ladies and gentlemen. So why the 4th of July? Why the 4th of July? Well, you have got that significant date with the United States, and it would be poignant. But where are we? Hang on. Let me go to your share screen, and I will tell you guys why. This one. Right, so here we are, guys. Okay, so we've got Oasis to kick off reunion tour with Cardiff gigs. So you're going to have this, the first date of this Oasis tour. The Oasis are doing a Get Back Together tour, and this will kick off in Cardiff on the 4th and 5th of July in the city's Principality Stadium. Is that, yeah, Principality Stadium. Now, you can imagine what the state of the country will be like when this starts. So the first date of this store, like it says, ladies and gentlemen, is the 4th of July. Now, you can imagine now the events running up to that event, that event, I guess, yeah. So the taxes, people becoming unemployed, everything I've just said. And like, you know, as sad as it is to say this, you are going to have more incidents involving we're going to have more incidents on the streets in the United Kingdom before that. It's an inevitability. If not in the United Kingdom, Europe, there's going to be more of these events, shall we just say, you know, and this is going to drive people to a certain direction. And when people go to this, you know, when people are in this Oasis concert, they're going to have a feeling, a mass feeling of nostalgia when they're in there. They're going to remember how good we had it in the 90s, guys, how cool things were in the 90s. That's a reality of how those people are going to feel in that moment, in that stadium. Now, where are we? Now, we're talking about mass here, ladies and gentlemen, because you've got to get the masses of people on the streets. And this is what's going to happen in this stadium. You are going to have, so this is from their website, guys. This is from the Principality. This is from Wales Online, actually, not their website. But this is the Principality the Principality capacity. They can hold 74,000 people. So essentially, 74,000 people. Now you can speculate what type of demographic are going to be going to the Oasis concert, how old they will be, you know, their beliefs, you know, their background, but you're going to get 75,000, well, what was it, 74,500 or was it 75? 74,500 people potentially in that stadium. So you can imagine now taxes, war, boots on the ground, all this stuff happening. And then you've got 74,000 people in Cardiff. What do you think is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen? What do you think is going to happen? It's the data that's pointing to that, ladies and gentlemen. I've been saying this is coming for a while. When I understood the dates of the concert, it feels right to me, guys. There's so many data points pointing to that location. There's so many data points pointing to that time. It just seems right. The weather's going to be better. You know, and people are saying, oh, but the farmers are protesting here and there. And I'm like, no, you've got to understand the climate's not right for it, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to take a step back and look at everything holistically. You are going to have 74,000 people on the streets in Cardiff, and they're going to be 90s people, you know, who remembered how things were in the 90s. They're going to be united as a group, and then they're going to come out on the streets of Cardiff, and what's going to happen? I'm calling it now, guys. I believe you're going to see the first kindlings, the first skirmishes that will lead to the Summer of Carnage in the United Kingdom. That's when it's going to happen, guys. I've not done a full video like this on this before. I have said this on other videos. I have kept this kind of short, believe it or not. I've not gone into military. I've not gone into police structuring. I've not gone into the deficiencies that are going to come, that they're going to come up against. Like I said, guys, Summer of Carnage, 4th of July, 2025, starting in Cardiff. You're going to see the first. You're going to see the first skirmishes, guys. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to Mag to Grid, and I'll get you guys another video later.